Good morning. Now, I hope you all got on okay with the test yesterday. I will have the corrections to those back to you at some stage. I'm not exactly sure when. It may even be over the midterm before I have a chance to get them all fully corrected. So in the meantime, we're just going to move on with coordinate geometry. And this is the corrections for the homework that you had last Thursday. So you were identifying the coordinates of different things. Let's start with part A. And they want us to write down the coordinates for each item here. So whenever we're asked for coordinates, it's always the x number, comma, the y number, like this. So let's look at where the pineapple is. Now the pineapple is here, so the x number is 5, and the y number, if we come across here, is 2. So its coordinates are 5, 2. Next we have, this is some kind of peach, I think maybe. So here's the peach, and you can use your ruler to help you find the x and y coordinate. So the x coordinate is 8, and the y coordinate is 1, 8, 1. Then we're looking for an apple, I think. Here's the symbol, it's up here. So there's my x is 4, and my y is 9. So 4, 9 are the coordinates there. Then this aubergine looking thing up here, and it's not 10, 1, that would be 10, 1, it's 1, 10. 1, 10. So you can circle them like I've been doing if it helps you, but there's no need to do that. And the broccoli, and you can even draw lines to help you, like this. The broccoli is at 9, 5. 9, 5. Right, okay, so hopefully everybody was okay with that. If you found that you were writing down the numbers backwards, just remind yourself that it's the x value, and the axis should be labelled, the x value and then the y value. And the other way of thinking about it is you walk first and then you jump. Okay, part B then. Write down the name of the item located at each of the points shown here. So this was kind of working backwards a little bit. 2, 2. Now we couldn't get this backwards, right? 2, 2. Okay, what kind of fruit is that? I suppose I would call that a tomato, but listen, so long as you identified it correctly, if you even just drew a picture, that would be fine. I think that looks like a tomato. Part 2, 9, 7. So I start 9 on the x-axis and up as far as 7 on the y-axis. And that looks like a strawberry. That one's a little bit easier. A strawberry. 2, 7. 2. But then all the way up to 7. And we find the banana. And 3, 4. Over to 3 and then up to 4. And we have a pumpkin. So if it helps you, use your ruler to draw on the lines. But there's really no need to. You can just sort of line it up yourself by eye as well. And there's the pumpkin there. Right, so do let me know if there was any part of that that you still don't understand. If you got confused doing the homework, that's one thing, but the important thing is that you would understand it now. Moving on then to question 2. Study the grid and answer the questions. The yellow circle is at the coordinates 6, 2. And we do need the round brackets as well. Especially at higher level, you won't get full marks if you don't have the round brackets in. B, what is at 7, 3? 7, 3, a yellow triangle. Yellow triangle. The yellow square is at 8, 6. 8, 6. The white square is at 2, 2. What is at 3, 4? 3 and up to 4. A green triangle. Green triangle is at 3, 4. And the red triangle or orange triangle, I think it means this one here because there's no other one. It's just my printer, I think. So this red triangle here is at 10, 7. 10, 7. Okay. Now, With a little bit more of a complicated question then, following on. This diagram shows 3 houses on a coordinate grid. Each unit on the grid represents 1 metre. So if you're walking along the road here and you go from here to here, you've travelled 1 metre. Write down the coordinates of the points A, B, C, D and E. Okay, so A is the point here. And you know, it's not bang on the intersection, but we'll call it the intersection. It's at 9, 7. So A is at 9, 7. B then, B is over here. So B is at 12, 5. B is at 12, 5. C is over here, the corner of the garage, is at 6, 4. 6, 4. The X value first every time. D, I'm going to find it, it's in my tree, is at 3, 5. 3, 5. And E, there it is, near my door, and it's at 10, 4. So E is at 10, 4. Okay, so those were the coordinates that we needed to write down. Use the grid to estimate to the nearest metre each of the following. The distance between the points C and E. So here's C and here's E, and we're told that each of these boxes is 1 metre. So 1, 2, 3, 4 metres. 4 metres, that's what we were expected to write down there. The height of the front door on the blue house. Okay, so now maybe I've printed this in black and white, of course, which is not helpful. So let me just double check which one was the blue house. Come back here. The blue house. Yeah, it was the only one that I can see the front door of, the middle one here. And I want to estimate the height of the front door here. So let's look. It's definitely more than 1 box high, right? And how far do they mean going to the top? Going to the top here or going to the top here? I'd say here. And part of this is our assumptions as well. So we need to show the work that we're doing. So I've got a little bit here, not quite halfway, but I've got a little bit underneath as well. So what would we say? 1 metre and maybe another half of a metre. So I would say 1.5 metres. Now if you said 1.6, 1.7, if you included this, you need to indicate it. I definitely wouldn't call it 2 metres high, but 1.5 metres seems about right. The width of the driveway. So let's look at the width of the driveway here. Now it's difficult because the driveway is kind of slanted. So maybe we want to look here. That's 1 metre. And I don't come all the way across the box, but I've got another little bit over here. So I definitely have 1 metre. And that looks like about 3/4. And that looks like maybe 1/4. So I would say the width of the driveway is about 2 metres. What if you did it back here? It looks less, right? So depending on where you did this, the grid, because this is in representing 3 dimensions, how do we know which ones are the best to use? Well, so long as you show your work on the grid, I can accept your answer. So if you did your measurements back here, you're getting a different answer to your measurements back here because of perspective. My lines are curving in like this. The length of the footpath shown in the diagram. So let's see, this is the footpath outside the houses, okay? So we have, I'm not going to count the partial box till the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. So I would say 14 and a half meters. Write down the coordinates of the center of the circular window on the blue house. So again, that was A, wasn't it? But the center of it is slightly off. The center there is slightly off. So again, I'd accept A for this. and we can write down 9, 7. We'll write down 9, 7. But if you said, well, it's a little bit less than 9. If you said, for example, 8.8, comma 7.1, that would also be acceptable. But just like when we learned estimating and rounding, when we were doing numbers, going to the nearest whole number is perfectly fine with questions like this, especially when they don't give you any more information than that. Okay, so that's how we were using our coordinates to answer this question. Thank you.